I'm really pleased to be here with my good friend Tum Kazunga, TJ Kazunga.
Indeed. Yeah.
Internet whiz kid, global child. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your background, because you've got an extraordinary, remarkable and interesting background. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, first off, I was born in Zambia. So for those who know, that's a lovely country in the southern bit of Africa, just above Zimbabwe, below DRC, so right bang in the middle, basically. And I grew up there. My father worked in the civil service. My mum originally from England, but been in Zambia since the 60s, 64 thereabouts. And I grew up in Zambia with a wonderful childhood. Left in my early when I was 10, 9, 10. My father was then he was a diplomat, and we went to live in Europe. So then I lived in Belgium for a few years, but predominantly spent the bulk of my teenage years in schooling in Sweden, which was an amazing place and really a lovely place to grow up. So very much so, very blessed to have these opportunities.
Great, I'm going to put you on the spot now. How many languages do you speak? You're now going to tell me that you speak one.
Yeah, English. No, Swedish. Yeah. English. One of the Zambian languages. Yeah. Which could be a lot better, and also my French, which is a bit rusty. But fantastic. I'll say with confidence Swedish and English, definitely.
And you've got interests in things like business, enterprise, travel, tourism, understandably with your background, but people most know you as internet business development kind of consultant. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do in a nutshell.
Sure. Basically, as you said, I'm a consultant, and I help companies, entrepreneurs, to develop strategies so that they can use the internet to effectively grow their businesses. And that's it in a nutshell. Without going overboard, but one of the things that I find is a lot of people, a lot of companies get hung up on all these different tactics. So every day they're bombarded by people saying you need to do SEO, you need to do social media, you should be doing video, what about radio advertising? And all of that's well and good, but really people focusing on that, you can't see the wood for the trees, And what I help people do is take a step back and say, right, what's the strategy here? Because all those things are tactics, right? So before you implement a tactic, what's your strategy? What are you aiming to achieve online? Is it to build a brand? Is it to sell a series of products? Is it to sell one product? I mean, all these things can affect your internet strategy. And that's what we do.
And what's it that attracted you to that whole realm? Because I guess there was a number of different fields that you've gone into, and what's it that particularly attracts you to that realm? Obviously it's really important to all of us now because we live online lives predominantly.
Sure. Two things. One, I'm a real kind of geek, so internet geek. I mean, I love the technology aspect of it, and I always have. But also it's about the marketing, and I love marketing. Marketing for me is something that really feeds me in many different ways. It's really creative, so it enables you to use your creative side of your brain, but it's also very analytical, it's very logical, and there's a kind of a science to it as well. So it's that kind of mixture of art and science which attracts me. And the fact that if you do it right, you can have a massive impact on a brand, on a company.
Fantastic. And let me just ask one last question. I mean, tell me, what is it that particularly attracted you to wanting to set up Evolved Heart with my good self? What was it that, because I know you've always had an interest in understanding personal development, business development, but for you, what was the appeal?
Several things. I mean, for one thing, as you said, I've always had this interest in personal development. I think it's tied in. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business people have that, because you recognize that you always have to be striving, you always have to try and get the best out of yourself, and how can you improve? So I think that's a natural consequence. So Evolved Heart sort of just flowed out of that, and to realize, I think, that there is a gap. There's a lot of content out there which is about personal development and so on, but I think, and we'll go into this maybe in another video down the road, but I think the ideas that you and I have just are a bit different, a bit off key, which probably suit both of us. And I think will enable us to do something that is slightly different, but still it's going to impact a lot of people. And it's that vision, I guess, of being able to impact a wide number of people that you can't do on a normal day-to-day basis.
Fantastic, Tum. Pleasure to see you, and the visitors of Evolved Heart, I'm sure, will be hearing, reading more about you in due course.
I hope so. Thanks, Rasheed.
Thanks.